The Alps, towering, majestic, and unforgiving. These mountains have stood the test of time, their snow-capped peaks reaching towards the heavens, a testament to nature's grandeur and power. These mountains stood as guardians of Italy, a natural fortress that seemed impenetrable. For centuries, they had been a barrier, a line of defense against invaders. Napoleon Bonaparte, the First Consul of France, looked upon them with a mix of awe and determination. He was a man of vision, a leader who saw beyond the obvious. He saw not an obstacle, but an opportunity. Where others saw an insurmountable barrier, Napoleon saw a path to glory and victory. His enemies, the Austrians, believed the Alps were impassable. They were confident that no army could traverse such treacherous terrain. They would be wrong. Napoleon envisioned a daring crossing, a bold maneuver that would catch his enemies off guard. He meticulously planned every detail, leaving nothing to chance. He would use the element of surprise to strike at the heart of Austrian power in Italy. His strategy was clear: move swiftly, strike decisively, and secure a foothold in enemy territory. The year was 1800. Europe was a continent in turmoil, with nations locked in a struggle for dominance. Europe was embroiled in war. The echoes of cannon fire and the march of soldiers filled the air, a constant reminder of the conflict that raged across the land. Napoleon, a rising star in the French military, had seized power in a coup d'état. His ambition knew no bounds, and he was determined to reshape the future of Europe. He yearned for peace, but knew he must first secure victory. His plan was audacious, a testament to his boldness and strategic genius. He would lead his army, the Grande Armée, across the Alps. This was no small feat. It required immense courage, determination, and unwavering resolve. Their destination, the plains of northern Italy. It was here that the fate of nations would be decided, where battles would be fought and history would be made. There they would confront the Austrians. The stage was set for a clash of titans, a battle that would echo through the annals of history. Napoleon's plan was a gamble, a calculated risk. The Alps were formidable, a natural barrier that had deterred many before him. Their peaks soared into the clouds, creating an almost impenetrable wall. Passes were narrow, treacherous, and fraught with danger. The weather was unpredictable, often changing in an instant. Snow could fall even in spring, blanketing the paths and making the journey even more perilous. Yet Napoleon saw the strategic advantage in this audacious move. He believed that the element of surprise would be his greatest weapon. By crossing the Alps, he could catch the Austrians off guard, striking them where they least expected. He carefully studied maps and reports, analyzing every possible route and obstacle. He consulted with guides who knew the mountain paths intimately, relying on their expertise to navigate the treacherous terrain. He chose the Great St. Bernard Pass as his route, a decision that would prove both daring and dangerous. It was a difficult path, but it offered the most direct route into Italy, cutting down the time needed to reach his objective. Napoleon knew that speed was of the essence. Every moment counted in this high-stakes gamble. He had to move quickly and decisively, urging his troops forward with relentless determination. His army, some 40,000 strong, would have to contend with more than just the enemy. The harsh mountain conditions would test their endurance and resolve. The mountains themselves would be their fiercest adversary, presenting challenges that would push them to their limits. But Napoleon's vision and leadership inspired his men to press on, driven by the promise of victory. The march began in May 1800. The soldiers, many of whom had never seen mountains, were awestruck. The sheer scale of the Alps was daunting. The men faced a grueling climb. They hauled cannons and supplies. Every step was a test of endurance. Napoleon, mounted on his trusty steed, led from the front. His presence inspired his men. He shared their hardships. He ate their rations. He slept under the stars. The weather was unpredictable. One moment the sun would be shining, the next snow would be falling. The air grew thinner as they climbed. Some men suffered from altitude sickness, others collapsed from exhaustion, yet they pressed on. The fate of France rested on their shoulders. The Alps, as majestic as they were, held hidden dangers. Avalanches were a constant threat. The rumble of snow and ice crashing down mountainsides filled the men with dread. One such avalanche caught a detachment of soldiers off guard. Men and horses were swept away in an instant, the air filled with the cries of the injured and the dying. Napoleon himself narrowly escaped death when an avalanche roared past him. He was shaken but unharmed. The disaster only strengthened his resolve. He ordered his engineers to clear the paths. He directed his officers to keep the men moving. The crossing had to continue. There was no turning back. Section 5. Perseverance amidst peril. The unwavering spirit of the Grande Armée. The soldiers of the Grande Armée were a hardy bunch, forged in the fires of countless battles and campaigns. They were veterans of many campaigns, each one more grueling than the last. They had faced down enemy fire, standing their ground with unwavering resolve. But nothing could prepare them for the challenges of the Alps. The harsh, unforgiving terrain tested their limits, yet they endured. They marched through snow and ice, their determination as solid as the frozen ground beneath their feet. They slept in the open, huddled together for warmth, finding solace in each other's presence. They shared their meager rations, every bite a testament to their camaraderie and shared struggle. They helped their comrades who faltered, lifting each other up when the weight of the journey became too much. Their spirit never wavered. They drew inspiration from their leader. Napoleon's determination was infectious, a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. He pushed his men to their limits, demanding their best and more. He was relentless, and so were they. And they gave it willingly, knowing that their sacrifices were not in vain, for they knew they were fighting for something greater than themselves. They were fighting for their homeland, their families, and their future. They were fighting for France, and that gave them the strength to persevere, no matter the odds. Section 6. A triumph of logistics, supplying an army on the move. Moving an army across the Alps was not just a test of human endurance, it was a logistical nightmare. Supplies were essential. Food, ammunition, and medical supplies had to be transported. Napoleon's engineers worked tirelessly. They built roads and bridges. They carved paths through the mountainsides. Mules, donkeys, and even oxen were used to haul supplies. The cannons, vital for the battles ahead, were disassembled and carried piece by piece. Every item, no matter how small, was essential. The success of the entire campaign depended on the smooth operation of the supply lines. Section 7. The descent into Italy. A moment of respite and renewed hope. After days of grueling marches, the French army finally reached the summit of the great St. Bernard Pass. Before them lay Italy. The sight of the lush valleys below was a welcome relief. The soldiers, weary but triumphant, cheered. They had conquered the Alps, but their journey was far from over. The descent was almost as treacherous as the ascent. Paths were narrow and slippery. The men were exhausted, yet they were also exhilarated. They had overcome one of the greatest challenges any army had ever faced. Their morale soared. They were ready to face whatever lay ahead. Section 8. Marengo in sight. The strategic importance of the plains of Piedmont. Napoleon had chosen his destination carefully. The plains of Piedmont in northern Italy were of great strategic importance. They were the breadbasket of Italy. Control of Piedmont would give Napoleon a foothold in Italy. It would also cut off Austrian supply lines. From Piedmont, Napoleon could strike north towards the Austrian heartland, or he could move south to liberate the rest of Italy. Marengo, a small village in the heart of Piedmont, would be the site of the upcoming battle. It was here that Napoleon would put his daring plan to the test. Section 9. The eve of battle tensions rise as two armies prepare for confrontation. Word of the French army's arrival in Italy spread like wildfire. The Austrians were stunned. They had dismissed the possibility of a crossing. Now they were caught off guard. They scrambled to gather their forces, both armies prepared for battle. The French, weary from their journey, were nonetheless confident. They had the element of surprise. They had Napoleon's leadership. The Austrians, though caught off guard, were determined to defend their position. They were fighting on familiar ground. They were eager to teach the French a lesson. The fate of Italy, and perhaps all of Europe, hung in the balance. Section 10. The legacy of the crossing, a testament to Napoleon's audacity and vision. The crossing of the Alps was a testament to Napoleon's audacity and vision. It was a feat of military planning and logistics. It was a triumph of the human spirit. The image of Napoleon leading his army across the Alps has become an iconic one. It has inspired generations of artists, writers, and military leaders. The crossing was more than just a military maneuver. It was a symbol of Napoleon's ambition. It showed the world that France was a force to be reckoned with. It cemented Napoleon's reputation as a brilliant military strategist, and it set the stage for his rise to power. Section 11. Down to conclusion, a turning point in history. The Battle of Marengo, which took place on June 14, 1800, would be a pivotal moment in Napoleon's career. It would solidify his reputation as a military genius. The victory at Marengo would secure French control of Italy. It would pave the way for Napoleon's rise to emperor. The crossing of the Alps was a testament to the power of human will. It showed that even the most formidable obstacles can be overcome with determination and courage. It was a turning point in history, one that would shape the destiny of France and of Europe.